At the end of the month of Bhadra, the clear blue sky is radiant under the scorching rays of the sun. As I look around, the vast fields touch the horizon, sparse with trees. The summer heat is absorbing the rainwater from the fields, and fine waves of steam are visible all around. In the distance, a vulture is soaring. The silence of noon prevails. There are no sounds, no gatherings in the fields, not even the movement of people. In this desolate sun-drenched expanse, my friend Chandrakumar and I were walking. I did not know where we were going or why. Chandrakumar is my childhood friend, who had been missing for several years. He recently returned home. I was accompanying him at his request. When I asked where we were going, I received no answer. We had left home 10 days ago, and I did not know where we had come. For these days, we had travelled by train or by car, and we hadn't walked much. This morning, Chandrakumar said goodbye to the vehicle, saying that we wouldn't have to go much further. There was no third person with us. We had come some distance and were now in this vast field. How much further we had to go, I did not know. Before disappearing, Chandrakumar was a sociable person who enjoyed chatting and joking. But upon his return, he was not the same. He spoke little, almost remaining silent. Even today, our conversation was limited. Without glancing to the side or behind, Chandrakumar walked briskly. I was drenched in sweat and exhausted from the sun and the journey. Chandrakumar showed no signs of fatigue. After some time had passed in the afternoon, I looked around and saw endless fields both ahead and behind. I began to doubt that Chandrakumar had lost his way. I asked, "Where are we going?" "You haven't lost your way, have you? Don't worry. You can walk with me without any concern." There were no further words. We continued walking as before. The sun dipped in the west, casting long shadows of Chandrakumar and me across the fields. Gradually, a line of trees appeared at the edge of the fields. As evening approached, we exited the fields and saw a cottage under the trees. Upon reaching the front of the cottage, Chandrakumar let out a long sigh and said, "We have arrived." Saying this, he entered the cottage. I followed him inside. The cottage was very small, just one narrow room. I realized that while the cottage was empty at that moment, it was not entirely devoid of life. People had come and gone. Chandrakumar entered as if the cottage were his own. He said to me, "Rest." I was extremely thirsty. In the corner of the room, there was water in a clay pitcher. I filled my hands and drank. I asked Chandrakumar, "How many days will we have to stay here?" Standing outside the cottage, Chandrakumar was looking around. He said, "I'll tell you later." I didn't say anything else. There was dry grass spread under the cottage, and I lay down on it. Exhaustion quickly led to a drowsy feeling, which soon turned into sleep. When I awoke, I saw that Chandrakumar was not in the cottage. It was illuminated by moonlight. I went outside. In the moonlight, the field appeared as calm as a still sea. A shadow of melancholy seemed to envelop everything. Breaking the night's silence, a creature occasionally called out near the cottage. I was alone among people. Where was Chandrakumar? Night began to fall. I returned to the cottage. Sleep did not come to my eyes anymore. In the deep night, I heard footsteps approaching. Someone was coming rapidly toward the cottage. I sat up. Chandrakumar hurriedly entered the cottage. Following him, another figure entered silently with swift footsteps. I realized this second figure was a woman, but I could not see her face. Chandrakumar, filled with fear, spoke as if he were mad, "No one else must enter the cottage, or our lives are in danger." You guard the door, if anyone tries to enter, cut them down. Here, take this. Saying this, he handed me a sharp, deadly sword. I did not say anything, I asked no questions. Chandrakumar seemed to lack the power to alter his words. I stood by the door with the sword. In the moonlight, I could see far into the fields. In the direction of the trees, there was some darkness. I saw nothing and heard no sounds. No words were spoken in the cottage. Occasionally, I heard the sound of fear-stifled breaths. Suddenly, a shadow of a person fell in front of the cottage. I tightened my grip on the sword and asked, "Who goes there?" The shadow vanished, I could not see the figure. There was a faint sound of fear from the cottage, but I could not understand who had made it. Once again, a shadow appeared, I called out, "Who goes there?" Again, the shadow disappeared. Gradually, I began to believe that someone was circling the cottage unnoticed. In the moonlight, I could catch glimpses of their shadow, but I could not see the person themselves. Each time I saw the shadow, I asked the same question, and each time the shadow vanished. The moonlight gradually grew dim, and a vague darkness crept across the sky ahead of dawn. Then, a very soft yet piercing laughter echoed near the cottage. I shuddered. In the morning, Chandrakumar came out of the cottage. I had never seen such a change in a person's face in just one night. I didn't mention it at that time. I had a few questions to ask. I said to Chandrakumar, "I have a couple of things I need to know. Until now, you haven't told me much, and I haven't been particularly eager to know, but now, as I am helping you in good or bad deeds, it's necessary to know. I cannot tell you everything. Neither this woman nor I have any ill intentions. Once she saved my life. After that, her life is in danger. I have saved her life. Now both our lives are in danger. If you can, protect us. We have no strength for self-defense." I asked, "Will you return to the country now? If I survive?" I looked at Chandrakumar in astonishment. I raised another question, "Why do you say both your lives are in danger? And why can't you defend yourselves? Your strength is greater than mine." Chandrakumar smiled sadly and said, "Didn't you see any cause for concern during the night? The shadow that circled the cottage, the sudden appearance and disappearance, and that very soft yet piercing laughter came back to my mind. Were these truths, or mere fearful imaginings?" After a moment of thought, I said, "What I saw, I cannot comprehend or explain. You won't be able to. If you could, there wouldn't be so much fear. The reason we are unable to defend ourselves is that you haven't yet fallen into that condition, that's why I brought you along." At that moment, the woman came out of the cottage. She did not seem particularly embarrassed upon seeing me. I looked at her as well. A beautiful woman does not need to say much. When she is beautiful, her beauty cannot be fully described. I had never seen such pure beauty. Her face reflected a heart that was tranquil, pure, and joyful. Seeing her face, I no longer had doubts about Chandrakumar's words. Seeing the woman, Chandrakumar spoke to her in a foreign language, and she replied in the same language. I could not understand anything. Chandrakumar said to me, "She doesn't know our language." After that, Chandrakumar began to speak to the woman about other matters, and I understood he was saying something about me. As I listened, the woman occasionally glanced at me with a shy yet excited look and mentioned my name. The woman, unable to fully pronounce my name for the first time, said, "Prabhat Chandra." I told Chandrakumar. The woman, having gained some relief, spoke even more quickly than before, "Prabhat." Though I wanted to know the woman's name, I couldn't ask her right away. Chandrakumar said, "Won't you ask her name?" "Should I?" Following Chandrakumar's cue, the woman revealed her name, Badala. The name did not seem entirely foreign. We had some food supplies with us. After the meal, I called Chandrakumar and asked, "What do you wish to do now?" Chandrakumar replied, "What do you suggest?" I noticed a change. Until now, it seemed as if Chandrakumar's mental strength had weakened, and his desires aligned with mine. I said, "I don't think it's wise to stay here another night. There are various kinds of dangers here." Chandrakumar said, "In my mind, there is only one powerful fear. That fear exists here just as it does elsewhere, whether in a desolate desert devoid of life, or in a settlement, as helpless on a lonely road as in a heavily guarded fort. We won't escape this fear by fleeing." I could not comprehend the meaning of these words, but with each word I heard, the sharpness of my wonder diminished. I couldn't determine whether to believe such strange things. I said, "Regardless, I see no reason to stay here any longer." "Nothing. Shall I call Badala?" "Call her." Chandrakumar called the woman. We set off toward the cottage. In the shadowy wilderness, the day passed by in a flow of time. After dusk, I reached a human settlement. I rented a small house for the night. Chandrakumar and I lay near the door inside the room. I did not sleep well at night. Various thoughts about Chandrakumar and the woman began to arise in my mind. How did they come to know each other? What were they so afraid of? In such a short time, I had developed a deep affection for them. It felt as though I was part of their happiness and sorrow, and if they faced any danger, I would be responsible for it. In my sleep, a couple of times, Chandrakumar spoke in a muffled voice. I couldn't understand what he was saying. Finally, I heard sounds coming from inside the house. The woman seemed to be speaking in her sleep. I began to listen attentively. The woman spoke again. This time I could understand Miran. She called, with a voice filled with fear and a somewhat muffled tone. Chandrakumar turned to her and sighed, saying, "Miran." I had no doubt that Chandrakumar was asleep, but I could not determine whether the woman was asleep or awake. Yet, both spoke the same name. They both knew this person named Miran and were afraid of him. Who was Miran? The only lamp in the house was burning low, flickering with its last light. Finally, it went out completely. At that moment, it seemed I could hear someone's footsteps and breathing nearby. I sat up in bed. There was a sword beside me, which I took hold of. But I stayed by the door, looking around. The sun had set, and a little light remained on the house walls and treetops. The darkness was creeping in. I could not see any signs of human presence. The darkness grew denser. I did not see any people, but I could hear human voices. I couldn't understand where the sounds were coming from. A shiver ran through my body, an unknown fear made my heart race. The sounds grew closer. They were deep but not loud. I could not comprehend the language being spoken. A few phrases were repeated like a mantra. I asked, "Who is it?" There was no answer. The sound began to fade away. This happened several times. The sound would come close, then move away again. The same voice, the same kind of sound. By the end of the night, the sounds moved further away, and I heard nothing more. I did not mention this incident to Chandrakumar. Given his mental state, such words might frighten him. Even if I did tell him, it would have no effect. Strange occurrences filled the nights as I continued to keep everything secret. I couldn't tell if Chandra Kumar noticed anything or heard anything. He never spoke to me about it. 3 days remained on the road. For several nights, I had heard the name Miran from Chandra Kumar and the woman in their sleep. Finally, unable to contain my curiosity, I asked Chandra Kumar, "Who is Miran?" Just hearing the name made Chandra Kumar tremble. He looked around. His face became pale, his eyes widened, and his whole body began to shake. Grasping my hand, he whispered softly, "Who told you?" "No one told me, I heard it from your lips in your sleep." I refrained from mentioning the woman, deeming it unnecessary. Chandra Kumar let out a long sigh and asked again, "Did you hear it from Badala?" I replied, "I heard it from him while he was asleep." Chandra Kumar said nothing. After a moment, he looked up and said, "There is not much time left." I asked, "Left for what?" Chandra Kumar did not answer my question and walked away in another direction. When it was time to sleep, Chandra Kumar began to weep silently. The woman also cried. With a heart-wrenching voice, Chandra Kumar spoke a few words, causing the woman's tears to flow even more. In the deep of the night, suddenly, I woke from my sleep. Looking towards the door, I saw the shadow of a person. This time I did not leave my bed, I fixed my gaze on the shadow. The shadow immediately disappeared. After a while, it reappeared again. I saw the shadow's hand moving. This happened several times. Finally, one time the hand's shadow moved violently. A sharp light, like a bolt of lightning, entered the house, and darkness returned as before. The shadow vanished, and I could see nothing more. At the moment the light burst into the house, the woman screamed. Chandra Kumar jumped from his bed and rushed to her side. I took the light and saw the woman lying still, her breath gone. She was as lifeless as one struck by lightning. Chandra Kumar began to examine the woman's forehead. I looked closely with him, and there were fingerprints on her forehead. Chandra Kumar shouted, "Miran, why didn't you take me too?" Saying this, he was about to embrace the woman's lifeless body like a madman. But before he could, another flash of lightning struck. Chandra Kumar screamed and collapsed. I saw that there were also fingerprints on his forehead.